In the book for lesson 13, they begin with an exercise where they tell us that Jorge is mixing a special shade of orange paint. He mixes 1 gallon of red paint and 3 gallons of yellow paint. They want us to look at the problems below and determine which ones are true. We're actually going to skip this part, but what I want you to see is that the ratio of red to yellow is 1 to 3. So if you go to this next page here, you actually have a table, and they have red to yellow, so you need to write in 1 to 3, and then the relationship between these, or the multiplicative, is that you took 1 times 3, and that gave you your 3. If I go to the next one, and following the same pattern, 2 times 3 would give me 6. Down here, I'd have a 3 times 3 gives me 9. 4 times 3 gives me 12. 5 times 3 gives me 15. And this is that multiplicative that we had talked about a couple lessons ago. Down here, it's telling you that Jorge now plans to mix red and blue to create purple paint. The color of purple he has decided to make combines red and blue paint with a ratio of 4 to 1. If Jorge can only purchase paint in 1 gallon containers, construct a ratio table for all possible combinations for red and blue paint that will give Jorge no more than 25 gallons of purple paint. So in order to find my gallons of purple paint, I need to figure out how much of these I'm adding together, because whatever I add together will equal my purple paint. So that means my red plus my blue will equal purple. And based off of, and this is a nice little equation, and based off what this is saying, that he cannot get more than 25 gallons, that means that my red paint plus my blue paint has to be less than or equal to 25. So no matter what these two are, when they're added together, they cannot be more than 25. So we have a table below, and we're going to show this happening on that ratio table as you create it. So starting with the original, we have, if it's flipped 1 to 4, because if you notice, they gave us the ratio red to blue, but the table they created was blue to red. And so we needed to flip these numbers because the 4 belonged with the red, so it has to go here. So that's 1 to 4, the relationship being 1 times 4. And if we have 1 gallon of blue and 4 gallons of red, it's actually 5 gallons of purple. Down here, we have 2 blue, 8 red, and we're just using the additive. 1 plus 1 gave me 2, because I'm going to just, the additive is our original. And then this is a 4, so we're going to add 4 to get that. I'll write it in just in case you forget. And that would be an 8, because 2 times 4, because again, we're using our multiplicative as well. And that would give us 8. And if I have 2 blue and I have 8 red, 8 plus 2 gives me 10 gallons of purple paint. Down here, again, using our additive of 1, we get 3 gallons of blue. Using our additive of 4, we get 12 gallons of red. We also could use that multiplicative, and that's times 4. 3 times 4 gives me that 12. 12 is that relationship. And if I have 3 blue and 12 red, that gives me 15 gallons. Down here again, we're going to add that 1 and add that 4. We get a 4 to 16. We also could have done 4 times 4 to get the 16. And if we add these together, 4 and 16 make 20 gallons of purple paint. And we only have 1 space left, so we're going to add 1. We get 5. Add 4, we get 20, so the ratio is 5 to 20. We could have also taken our 5 times 4, since the relationship is times 4, to get that 20. If I have 5 gallons of blue, 12 gallons of red, we end up with 25 gallons of purple paint. So my equation, it asks to find one. It says, write an equation that will let Jorge calculate the amount of red paint he will need for any given amount of blue paint. So that means that they want us to start with red paint. So this here tells me I need to do red paint equals blank. Yesterday, I gave you, or in your notes, I gave you the formula to create equations. And what you do is you take whatever side you choose, and I'm going to just call that side 1, is equal to the value of side 1 times side B. Kind of ran out of room there, didn't I? I'll just write it up here. So side 1 is equal to your value of side 1 times side 2. So side 1 is going to be my red paint. So red equals, I need the value of the side, which is red. So what's the value of red? Well, that'd be 4 over 1, which is 4, times side 2, which is blue. And so for any number, this would be true. You also could actually know this because over here you see that relationship, we had a 1 times 4, which was blue times 4. We had 2 times 4, which again was blue times 4. So that's just plugging it in. 3 times 4, which would have been blue, was 3. We plug it in, that's 3 times 4, and that works for all of them. And so what you're seeing here with the multiplicative is actually how you can create an equation using the value. You turn your page, we're going to continue with the equation writing. The next one asks us to write an equation that will let Jorge calculate the amount of blue paint he will need for any given. So again, we take whatever side we're using, which I label side 1, equals the value of side 1 times whatever side 2 is. So that means that we have blue paint, so that's starting with blue, determining what our side 1 is, equals the value of side 1. Well, if you go back to the ratio table, the value of blue would have been 1/4. So that is blue equals 1/4 times side 2. Oop, you can't see that. Times side 2, which is red. Right there. So whatever blue is going to be equal to 1/4 times the number of gallons of red. If I move down, it says Jorge has 24 gallons of red paint. How much blue paint will he have to use to create the desired color of purple? Well, now that I have an equation, blue equals 1/4 red, I actually can just plug that number in without having to look at a ratio table. So 24 gallons of red paint means I'm going to replace red with 24. So I have blue equals 1/4 times 24 because 1/4 is the value and then the amount of red is 24. So now I need to solve that. So I have 1/4 times 24 over 1. As we said before, whole numbers are always over 1. That's going to equal 24 over 4. Well, 24 and 4, their greatest common factor is 4. So I take 24 divided by 4, I get a 6. 4 divided by 4 gives me a 1, which means my answer is a 6, and I was finding blue. So that would be Jorge will have to use 6 gallons of blue paint. Down here, they're flipping it. It says, well, what if Jorge uses 24 gallons of blue paint instead? How much red paint would he need? And we do the same thing, but we use the equation for the red paint. And the equation for red was 4 times blue, which we did before. Red equals 4 times blue. Well, blue is 24, so I take 24 and I plug it in for blue. So then my new equation was red equals 4 times 24. Over here you have the 24 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. You carry your 1. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. You get 96, which means Jorge will need 96 gallons of red paint. Below you have another situation they're going to have you solve for. I'll help you get started and then you can go ahead and check it. And I will see if you can go on to another exercise. And so you're using the same relationship of red to blue from above, and they want you to create a table that models the relationship of the colors blue, red, and purple. And it says, let B represent the number of gallons of blue paint, let R represent the number of gallons of red paint, and let T represent the total numbers of the gallons. Then write an equation that models the relationship between the blue paint and the total paint and answer the questions. So, again, blue was 1, red was 4, so that's what we're starting with. 1, 4, 1 plus 4 is 5. Then we have 2, 8, 2 plus 8 is 10. We had 3, 12, which was 15. 4, 16, which was 20. And lastly, 5, 20. And that gave me 25. Now, they want us to write an equation in terms of the relationship of the total. So then write the equation that models the relationship between blue and total. So we're going to just start with, again, the side that we want, which was I said side 1. So again, we can write that out. We have side 1 equals the value of side 1 times side 2. Well, in this case, side 2 is going to be total instead of that. So then you determine what the value of the total to blue paint is, how is it related to the equation, and you actually, this will not be required, but you being able to write the equation and demonstrate what that value is will be required. If you get this correct, I'll move you on to the problem set or the exit ticket. If you need a little bit more practice, we have 4 more exercises that you could practice on to make sure that you get, you understand the habit of creating these formulas.